Welcome back to Krown's Crypto Cave. It's a bit of a later Saturday morning over here from bright and sunny Helsinki, Finland. Got my morning walk in, got a little bit of yerba mate tea, of which I've tried it for the first time today. It's pretty damn good. A good substitute for the good old coffee. And with that said, let's get into the Krown Chain application because we probably care a little bit more about that rather than my drinking and early morning habits. And what do we see over here that is new today? Well, we actually see a lot of things that are new, more or less in the price action charts. Today is actually going to be a little bit more fun, and tomorrow we'll probably do a little bit more long-term analysis. But as far as the Krown Chain application goes, not too much of particular interest on the top side dashboard. I mean, we do see that most importantly, market cap and altcoin market cap continues to trend to the downside, losing 7% on the whole last 7 days, so the last week or so. But all the other things, all the other top end metrics are more or less the same. We see fear and greed index still in the fearful zone. We see Bitcoin dominance still around 45 3/4, and I do still look for this kind of trend up, regardless of whether Bitcoin goes up or down from here. I do think that we are looking at a resolution of the greater range probably within this next week, and I think that there are actually some very, very interesting things coming in probably around the later portion of this week to come, which we'll be talking about on today's video. Anyways, into the market data tab we go, and what do we got going on over here? Global funding rate is pretty much inconsequential and slightly positive. However, with price action right on the precipice of a, well, of a major level, that's not going to help out all that much. But it is the weekend, and I don't really suspect that we'll see anything of too much interest in the higher term timeframes today. It's more or less for the short term timeframes in the week to come, more importantly. Anyways, we do see a little bit more open interest being added, so people are kind of jockeying for positions into this next week to come, and I do think that it is going to lead into the theory that we probably do see a breakout or breakdown this next week, probably somewhere around midpoint or late in this coming week, sometime around Wednesday if I had to guess, as we typically do get the big moves right around there, just for what it's worth. Global net exchanges outflows is technically negative, ever so slightly, but it is negative, so there we go, a little bit of Hopium right there. Other than that, things are more or less the same right here, and I think it's more appropriate to go into the price action charts as of this moment in time. Anyways, with that said, we got the 4-hour time frame on Bitcoin spot right here. Or sorry, I guess on BitMexico. And yesterday I put out a short video that Bitcoin was putting in a little bit of a short-term low right here and probably does rally up to somewhere around about 32.5-ish region. We did get almost that move. Looks like we were front run by about a couple $100, or close enough is close enough in this case. I actually do think that Bitcoin has another chance right here as well. And I do like this activity where Bitcoin is putting in a bit of a base right at that $31,000 level, the same level that we have marked off since couple months now, I suppose. It's been quite some time, and as long as Bitcoin's maintaining above this level, I do look at this on the very, very short-term timeframes as potential higher low. I mean, it's just ever so slightly, or if you want to look at it from a price action standpoint, a bit of a complex low right here. Where does that get confirmed? Well, basically above yesterday's high, which is about 32,200 or so, or a closing high above about 32,100-ish region right here. Pretty much the same. So I do think that waiting for a wick higher is probably going to be fine in this case. If Bitcoin does take out the wick high of 32.2 or so, just trading above there, I would extend targets another about $1,000 or so to the prior day's high, in fact, and that one has kind of the same sort of interpretation here actually, as you do see a clean and obvious rejection right around here at about the 33 and some odd change level, just basically right above $33,000. And if Bitcoin were to even just pop above there, again, I don't need to see a closure in this case specifically, I would extend targets to the top side of the range, essentially about 34,200 or so. Keep in mind though, Bitcoin is more or less still in the confines of what would be a falling channel, a more bullishly resolved formation than bearishly resolved formation. So I guess the Bulas do have that going for them right now. But what I don't like about this is that the falling channel would have already fallen all the way down to what would have been your sort of impulsive move coming in from the 26th of June. Not the best signature as, at the end of the day, but it does offer up a little bit of an interplay with how to kind of be looking at this price action. Going over this next week if we do see a breakout or breakdown. So if we do take out the top side resistance of this, then we do have a technical target, which would be to the upside about 36,500. And like I said, the falling channel does have a more statistical probability to break out to the upside than the downside, but that doesn't mean that it's destined to do so. So I need to see either a closure above this region right here at about $34,000 or just below there, or the obvious one would just be even trading above this prior high that we saw, or this lower high from about 12th of July, which is about 34 and 250 or so, or on a 4-hour close about 34,450. If that were to happen, yes, I would be looking for a move back up here. Things start to look pretty damn good after that for another push into the deeper 40,000, or sorry, not deeper 40,000, but deeper $30,000 territory. But I like to take one step at a time, and this is going to really play into the more weekly analysis that we're going to go over soon enough. Anyways, if Bitcoin were to break below our current low structure, then yes, I would be doing the same thing to the downside in this case. That'd be having a measure move somewhere down around, well, it depends kind of where we break out from it, of course, but if we were to approach it from this region right here, somewhere down around about 27 to 28,000 bucks, with potential to, for more, of course. But for right now, Bitcoin putting in a bit of a low structure right here. Let's just give the point to the boo laws, at least for right now, because why the hell not, man? They've been beat up for the past couple months, essentially, 2.5 months now. So let's give them a little bit of hopium on the other side. Anyways, with that said, we do see, I believe, on full hour right here, or what do we see right here? Yeah, we actually see a bit of a, hey, get out of my face. We actually do see a bit of a potential jewel signal building itself. It's not quite there just yet. I think the hourly is maybe, no, it's actually nowhere near, in fact. So that goes by the wayside. We'll just ignore that for right now. If we go over to our momentum charts over here, we can see, I believe, something relatively similar. If we do see Bitcoin close above 31,250, which is currently about $250 above right now, which is, not much for Bitcoin, to be fair, then we'll see this cross back onto the upside. So I would give the nod to the boo laws in the very, very short term. And again, I'd be looking at this last little rejective high right here at about 32,150 or so, or just $32,000 on like a 2-hour closure as a continuation point, again, for a very likely move back around our prior high. And then, you can just scroll back to like the last 2 minutes of this talk, because that's going to be more or less the same. Anyways, with that said, let's do the daily perusal of the BBWP. Let's see where we're coming at from volatility perspective. And we're actually trending down once again. So looking at this right here, I don't think that we're going to see the breakout over the weekend or breakdown, of course. I think that we're going to be more or less ranging over the weekend within this falling channel, and probably looking for a resolution coming in somewhere around, like I said, mid to late next week. Just if you want like a weird aside, and maybe you've noticed this as well, usually around Wednesdays when we actually do see big moves in Bitcoin land, just for whatever it's worth. Anyways, I just want to make sure that I'm recording, that the microphone's working. It is, so that's good. So let's go over something else that I want to talk about right now as well, which does kind of lead into the theory that while Bitcoin could very easily break down here, and like I said, if it does break down, I'd be looking at a bounce at about $30,000 and then a potential bounce at about $27,000, which I should probably actually mark off right here. Do I have it already marked off? No, I don't have it marked off just yet. Well, I guess we have the $30,000 level marked off right here by that red half circle, which continues to work. Funnily enough, again, I did not plan for this. I just said, hey, if the boo laws are going to hold, it's probably going to look something like this. But so far so good, funnily enough. More importantly, if Bitcoin were to put in a bit of a bear trap, but either around $30,000 or at about $27,000, I want to talk about what that would look like and what to expect after that. So first and foremost, what would that look like? Well, if it does come around $30,000, I'd look for a quick wick down here and then a closure back above about 31,500 or so on a daily specifically. No other time frame really matters to me in this particular analysis. If we are going to get a bear trap, again, somewhere around $30,000. And of course, you're not going to know that it's a bear trap until you actually get the daily closure. And then what you'd expect after that is a general just sort of grinding run to the upside as Bitcoin proves its way through the mid and upper $30,000 territory. By the same token, if Bitcoin were to put in a bit of an actual break of this area right here, which I think is very much possible. I mean, there are certainly a lot more bearish things and bullish things right now. I would be looking at a move, generally speaking, down around about $27,000. So I have it on this chart right here. Yeah, I do have it on this chart right here, actually. And that's going to be based off just this last little stutter step right here. And then also, of course, we go to our 5-day Gaussian channel. We do see that the bottom side of that is coming in right around where? It's actually a little bit below 27 right now. So anywhere around there would be good. And technically speaking, when you are looking at a Gaussian channel like this, when you break the midline of it, 9 times out of 10 you will, but maybe not 9 times out of 10, but 8 times out of 10 you will test the other side of it. In this case, that would be the bottom side right here, which is currently rising rather rapidly, I should say, but right around about $27,000. Same thing for the upside over here as well. And what I want to talk about right now is something that I think is probably going to happen. If I wanted to give my general opinion of this, which my opinion is fucking worthless at the end of the day, understand that my opinion is not something that I trade. But what do I think is going to happen right here? I think Bitcoin is going to put in a bear trap somewhere down below $30,000 and then pop back up, give a bull trap somewhere in the mid or low $40,000 territory, and then we get to play the game of, is this a bull trap before coming down, to those nasty lower targets, about $20,000, or is this going to get reaccumulated around, mid $30,000 territory, about $35,000? I'm open to both possibilities still. I haven't necessarily gone full on bullish or full on bearish, although again, I will reiterate, if you go off of the long-term analysis videos, which are still very much relevant, there are several more bearish things than bullish things as far as the macro scale goes right now. Anyways, with that said, let's now talk about this right here. Let me get rid of this for this brief moment. We'll go over to this chart right here, and what do you know? Okay, So first and foremost, or actually before we get into that, I do want to talk about this as well. This is actually rather interesting to me, and it also does kind of align with, at the very least, a bear trap first, and does align with the $27,000 level or so. So what I've done here is I put on a Fibonacci extension for pretty much all of the major mega rallies in Bitcoin's history. And what you'll notice here, looking at these ones right here, because that's really the only history that we do have, is that after Bitcoin breaks its prior all-time high, in this case right here after parabolic market rally, later on after the after, in this case, a bear market, I suppose you call that, Bitcoin likes to base off of the 1.414 and never go lower than that over time, which you can see right here. Obviously, I take a retracement from high to low. Okay, beautiful. Let me just make sure that it's actually right. Okay, it is right. Good. And then Bitcoin, as you can see, breaks out above the prior time high. And then what does it do after that? It bases on the 1.414 and rallies onto the heavens after that. Let's go back to the one before that. We have this cycle right here, top, bottom, boom. Where's your 1.414? That's exactly where Bitcoin wicks down on this sort of double bubble formation right here that I think a lot of people are on about as well. In fact, we could take another one perhaps for this here too. Let's just see. And what do you know? If we go closure to closure, well, Bitcoin does base off the 414 in this case as well. Or if we actually go from wick to wick, I'm curious where that, would bring it up on this bull trap right here. Fair enough. So it does work both ways, but in this case, it does provide a nice move right there regardless. Anyways, we can take one from this cycle right here, of course, too. And what do you know? When Bitcoin breaks the prior all-time high in this area over here, where do we base off of? The 1414. Actually, I guess we already went off of this one before continuing onwards and forwards. And then we have this one over here, the Genesis, essentially, where we do see the 1.414 after essentially completing the big nasty breakout was just lower than the current low structure of that formation. Anyways, as it stands right now, guess where the 1.414 is if we take a Fibonacci extension from this whole cycle right here? Well, it's actually right around the bottom side of the 5-day Gaussian channel for what it's worth, just below 27,000 bucks. So do I think that we gotta have a quick wick down there, or just anywhere around there? I mean, close enough is close enough in my book. And then pick it back up? Perhaps yes. But what I want to show you now is a little bit more nasty, to be fair. All right, what we're going to do right here is this. See where the weekly RSI is. Well, the weekly RSI is in a very precarious place now, isn't it? It's right around the edge of the bearish control zone, I would say. And what we're going to do is we're going to mark this off going, let me actually use a full-on horizontal line. There we go. We're going to mark this off from about where we're at right now. It's going to be right about there. Okay, so look at all of the times that we've tested this trend line around this region. And again, keep in mind that this is, if you want to be a little more aggressive, it is kind of around the bearish control zone. So I do think that it kind of holds that interpretation. Anyways, besides my stupid opinion on it, let me just show you what's happened in the past. All right, so the last time that we tested this or around this area was where? It was right on over here. Sorry, let me just go back in right here about. This would be November 2019. And what do you know? What happens on Bitcoin in November 2019? Well, let me just go find it right here. It was literally right here as Bitcoin bounces off the 55 on the weekly. By the way, we're on the 55 right now as well, and puts in a bit of a bull trap above the 10 simple and the 21 exponential average right here. Yes, eventually does move lower. And the sombering detail is that all of these are going to move lower, actually. But this time's different. This time's different, definitely. So just disregard that. But we have another example right on over here. This is June 2018 as well. What happens in June 2018? Bitcoin basing off, actually in this case, much below the 55. So I don't think that's as important of a criteria of this. But more importantly, what happens after that? Big bounce. I mean, we're talking about from bottom to top, a 45% move right there. And on the other one, this one was from bottom to top, about a 42.5% move right there as well. Rather interesting now, isn't it? Now, of course, this was a bull trap as well, and well, the rest is history after that. But again, this time's different. This time's definitely different. Okay. Do we have another example other than that? We do. Hey, we do. This time's different, right? August 2015. Where is that? August 2015 is, where's my damn cursor? This time actually is different right here, to be fair. We do bounce off the 200 in this case and never lower ever again, bro. So you know what, that time actually is different, and I didn't catch that in my initial analysis. So perhaps I take back some of this stuff, but this was in a bit of a different posture right here, because you can see that the RSI alongside price action was heavily within the bearish control zone for the like 5 or 6 months before that, throughout the majority of the end of 2014 and the beginning of 2015. Anyways, this one over here approaches it from, of course, the upside. And what do you know? This is April 2014. And I happen to know that this one is coming in from this area right here. Same thing, bounce off the 55, back above the 10 symbol in 21, bull trap, and down, down, down we go. And do we have another example other than that? We do it, September. That would be right off this area right here. Kind of not. I mean, we do get a little bit of a bounce off there at about 420 all the way up to about $8. I mean, these are still pretty nice moves, so to speak. But what are we doing right now? Well, we're right around that area, of course. And so if we are going to look at something like that, do I think that that could align with a bit of a bull trap coming up into the mid low $40,000 territory before potentially moving lower? Yeah, I do think so. I'm also, again, not fully set on Bitcoin ultimately moving lower. I think that it's, I mean, like I said, if you're looking at it from a TA perspective, there's a lot more things pointed lower than higher, of course. But at the end of the day, I do want to see actual breakages of price action before I get full on like gung-ho bearish. And realistically, like on a channel like this, look, we're fucking traders. Like, I don't care what you call this goddamn market, bullish or bearish. Bitcoin dumped 50% from the highs to the lows. If you're an investor, you kind of have to get out. If you're a trader, you have to trade that. Like, that's the reality of it. I don't care whether you call it a bull market or a bear market, because I think the implication is that if you call this a bear market right here, or if you call this a bull market right here, you're basically saying, okay, it's okay to hold through that. No, it's not. Well, I mean, of course, everyone's entitled to their own, trading acumen or regimen or whatever. But I would suspect most people are probably not too happy about a 50% loss. And again, from a trader perspective, I mean, that's absolutely, that's like a career-ending move. So obviously not. But is it a bull market, or sorry, is it a bear market then? So what do you say? Do you just blindly short this whole region right here? Well, you've been, sitting on your PP hole for the last 2 months now, with nothing going for you. I mean, realistically, this has been a ranging market, and I haven't even been trading this last basically like 2 weeks now, maybe 1 or 2. Nothing too interesting going on right here for myself, at least. So with all that in mind, I think that conversation is kind of silly, and it's like it's more so for like headlines, obviously. Anyways, it should be known that is it known? Yeah, we do have 2-day hidden bearish divergence still in play there. 3-day is actually not. Do we have anything on the daily? Yeah, we did right there. Has that one already played out or not? That happened right around here. Yeah, you could say that that's played out. We've already come down to the bottom side of the range, so fair enough on that. But I do think that we're probably looking at this next mega move later this week. I did say on Thursday that sometime between Thursday and this coming Friday, we'd very likely see the move, so to speak, and I would still be sticking with that. Right now, all trends on higher term timeframes are down. I mean, all higher term timeframes are pretty much bearish. So, and it should also be known that this is going to piss a lot of people off too. Maybe not a lot of people off, but the people who it should piss off, it's going to piss off, because if something like this makes you mad, I mean, then what the fuck? You might want to think about a few things. Dixie, bullish. Dixie, I'd still be bullish on it. It still just kind of stares its way up. And guess what? We've closed above the 55 exponential moving average on the weekly for the first time since May 2020. And that actually walked it up the whole way from about May 2018 to May 2020, funnily enough. I would very, 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 very likely be looking for general continuation here over the next month or two. And if we do take out this last prior high at 93.5, I'd extend targets significantly towards 94.25. And probably higher than that over time. We do have a higher low in place. We've approached the higher high already. So by definition, it's probably not going to be a lower high. And the second that we take that out, we do have a weekly reversal in progress, and that would look good. Monthly looks like a bit of a low to me as well. Bullish divergence come off the lows here. You even got a jewel buy signal coming off the actual low right there. So I think that it's going to probably pull through a little bit more. And does that put downside pressure on most major markets? Perhaps yes. Again, just because Dixie's rallying doesn't mean that everything else is destined to fall. Obviously, that's not been the case, because we did see that throughout December 2020 to May of 2021 to April 2021, Bitcoin was rallying, right? Bitcoin went from $10,000 or basically $20,000 to $60,000. So was Dixie rallying. And guess what? From March to basically May, Dixie was falling. Hey, what happened to Bitcoin during that time? It fell crazy amount too. So I think that that's a very simplistic analysis. Understand that Dixie is simply measuring the value of the dollar relative to other fiat currencies. It's not in absolute terms. Like, obviously, if they're printing more, if the Fed's printing more dollars and they go into circulation, then naturally speaking, the inflation makes the actual absolute value of the dollar lower. Totally agree there, but Jesus Christ, man. Like, some people actually get mad if I say that Dixie's bullish. It is bullish. There's no and ifs or buts about this, in my opinion. So, you know, take that as you will. I would at the very least be looking for a move probably up towards like 94 over the next like half year. Keep in mind, these are higher term timeframes, so they're going to take a long time to play out. Also should be known that traditional markets look a little bit at least short-term toppy to me. We did get our critical closure that we spoke about yesterday on, or sorry, yesterday on the live stream. Probably going to open up on a little bit of a bounce here, but we are getting Joule signals saying it's cautionary times, not necessarily a sell signal just yet, but it will line up for one very, very likely over the next month or two. And we do see a bit of bearish evidence right there on the daily RSI. And with volatility and a very low posturing, as this one does kind of tumble on over, I suspect that next expansion phase probably does come with some downside continuation. And let's just say, what if we were to shave off about 20% from these highs? And by the way, I have to say this, man. This is the best call I will ever have in my life, and there will never be a better one ever, ever, ever. I did say that Nasdaq will go to $15,000 after coronavirus sometime, 1 month after coronavirus, I believe it was in April wait, where was it? Where was it? Oh man, it's like way the fuck back on over here. Yeah, it's been some time now. Way back on over here. And so while I would be looking for probably like a 10 to 20% correction, I mean, where does that actually put us? 10% correction puts us at about 13,400-ish region. 20% correction puts us basically at oh wow, okay, wow, we are way far away from coronavirus sometimes now. Basically at March lows from this past year. So fair enough. Would still be a long-term uptrend, to be fair. So if you are looking for tops in the market right now, I do think that is rather pertinent. We'll see the same thing on SPY as well. And if we go over here to the Russell 2000, kind of representing the mid caps, we can see that the soldiers have not been following the generals for a little bit of time now. And this is looking like distribution by the fucking definition. So it's going to take some time. It's not going to happen all in one day. It's probably going to happen over the next few months here. And I wouldn't even be looking for it to like fully play out until like October, November, realistically. But, it is in progress right now. And I do think that is relatively important to understand because of weakness in the stock market probably does not translate too well for Bitcoin. I mean, shit, even strength in the stock market hasn't been translating too well for Bitcoin. Maybe they're just not correlated anymore, as to which we probably shouldn't even care about either ones. And you know what? I'd even say that, look, you got to trade the chart that's in front of you. And obviously, if you're going to be bullish on if you're bullish on NASDAQ and you're looking at that as like to play a corollary into Bitcoin, it's not been working too well for the past couple of months here, like obviously. Anyways, this video is already 20 minutes long. Do I need to make it a little bit shorter or are we good? It should also be known that daily is trending below the bottom side Toronto band. So still does have a little bit of still does have a little bit of weight to the downside here, and again, I really wouldn't be looking for any sort of interesting sustained short-term upside movement until we take out yesterday's, or I guess it's not. Is it yesterday's high? Yeah, it is yesterday's high. Whatever this last 12-hour high is right here, 32,240.5 on BitMexico. Check your exchange, and then yes, I would be looking for the next targets to kind of be hit off that. This is not like strong price action right here, to be fair, but if there's one thing that in cryptocurrency land, it's that the worse that the chart looks, probably the harder it's going to pump. But again, we have our level set out, and if we do break this current low structure, I would be looking for that next sweep of about $30,000. If bounce fails there and we get a closure below, let's call it $30,000, then I would be looking for a next target down somewhere between about $26,500 to $27,000. Then we'll come back after that. Anyways, I think that's going to do it for right now. Yeah, I mean, it's pretty much a lot of the same stuff here. So fair enough. We still have not gotten a daily closure below 30,800, and we've not gotten a weekly closure below 32,000, except CME actually did yesterday. So that's your next bearish thing right here too. Again, all higher term timeframes really unchanged here. Not looking too hot right there, but I do think that we have a bit of a trap situation coming into next week, and then we'll play it out from there. And should we do for the grand finale? Should we do the final perusal of all the three signals I would be looking for on a macro bottom? Well, first and foremost, we got hash ribbons indicator right here. Not quite there just yet. Still no blue buy signal to be seen in any way, shape, or form anytime soon. So that means I am not even considering a macro low just yet. Of course, we do see on daily trend, we do not have anything resembling a higher low right now. In fact, we've closed on new lows, if anything. So that's not fucking good either. And what's the other one? Well, volatility is very, very low right now. So we got that in line. But if that expansion comes without the other two features in place, that's going to come to the downside. And like I said, best case for Bulaz is now bear traps at either 30,000 or 27,000 bucks. If those fail, then yeah, same targets that everyone else is talking about. 24 would be the next relevant region, and then probably 19,000 bucks. And I think we'll leave it right there. So with that said, tomorrow we'll come back with some more long-term analysis, I do believe. And I'd like to wish you the best once again. Take care. I salute you, and hopefully see you soon.